Welcome to the Built Different podcast. Let's get it. Welcome everybody to the Built Different podcast, and I am hyped. This is nuts. This is going to be the first episode of Off the Backboard where I, along with two others, are just going to cover basketball. We're going to give you everything from, Kevin Durant all the way down to Robert Sacre, and we're gonna give it to you all. And I'm pumped. I'm gonna be doing this with two of my my brothers, best friends in the whole wide world. Psych now. But
what the fuck you mean?
So to introduce you to me, obviously I'm Thomas Saxby. You guys seen me already. I'm a Knicks fan. It's hard to tell because I got that Warriors KD jersey on. I gotta play the part.
It's rough.
My favorite basketball moment is Kobe's final game. Man, there's no more beautiful ending than that. I think. I wasn't a huge Kobe fan while he was playing, but that moment right there was just as storybook as it comes. And you guys know me. I love my storybook endings.
That's magical.
Like I said, I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm used to suffering, so none of my favorite moments are going to come from, being a Knicks fan. My favorite player then, Wilt Chamberlain, man. When you can sit here and say you had sex with 5 in a day,
I knew it was going to go there.
and just show up and drop 100 points and 50 rebounds whenever you want, that's crazy. And then obviously my favorite player now, Kevin Durant. So, Matt, tell us about yourself, man.
Yo, Matt, Slap, whatever you want to call me. Clearly, I'm a Laker fan. Always been a Laker fan. Always going to be a Laker fan. Favorite moment? To me, it was Game 7, Lakers-Celtics 2010 Finals. Kobe gets a little contest, dishes it out, meta world peace, hits the shot. Everybody always was saying Kobe a ball hog. Kobe was never passing the ball. He knew what he had to do in that moment. Did what he needed to do to finally beat the Celtics. My favorite moment.
Remember that.
Favorite moment of all time.
I remember.
Favorite player then, clearly.
You passed me
Kobe.
the ball.
Someone was shaking. Kobe, clearly my favorite player of all time. Favorite player now, I got a couple. I would probably say Luka. But I could go Ja, Luka, any of the young guys, low key, because they're all pretty gas, they're all fire. So
What's up, V-Man? Tell us about yourself. What's up, man?
Name is Vashawn, V-Man, Ricky 10, whatever you want to call me. Feel me? My favorite team.
You could tell he be in the booth.
in there.
I am a Lakers fan. Love the Lakers. Born and raised, die hard. Always been a Lakers fan my entire life. I literally had no other choice. My favorite player, Kobe. Definitely 100%. I forgot my favorite moment. My favorite moment was definitely us beating the Celtics in 2010. Because that was the first Kobe championship that I could really appreciate, if that makes sense. I was old enough to understand the real magnitude of that championship. And you feel me? That was it.
It's a fact.
My favorite player now, Steph Curry. He's too good. Way too good. Steph Curry is my guy. Love that guy.
Okay.
Definitely respectable.
Well, yeah. So now I have a question for y'all.
All right.
Hottest take right now. Go.
Ooh, all right.
Let you leave that one off, Thomas.
Yo, he's starting already.
Sounds an evil villain over here.
My hottest take that I can personally think of is that Larry Bird's game would not translate in today's NBA.
Wow.
Now, the reason why I say that is because you go back on YouTube, you watch his highlights, you watch his games. This guy is one of the slowest athletes I've ever seen. He was nasty. I love Larry Legend.
Wow.
Not trying to disrespect. I just think in today's game, it would be way more easy to catch up to his moves now
Not at all.
from then. Hey, you wanted a hot take? I gave it.
My
That's a
question,
hot
though,
fucking
my
take.
question to that being, have you not seen Luka Doncic play basketball?
That's what I was going to bring up.
Except Luka passes more, way more. He's the whole.
You're
point.
right, but
Larry was a great
He's the
passer.
entire-
Larry Bird was a phenomenal passer.
No, phenomenal passer, but like it was
He had
kind of
LeBron's
like
stat lines.
you didn't have to worry about him dishing out to a teammate as much as you do Luka.
Yeah, but I feel like in today's game he would
But I'm
play
saying
like
if-
Luka. I feel like exactly like Luka.
If it wasn't for copyright, I'd pull up one of those videos where Larry Bird just like shooting from wild ass spots, just mad
making
slow.
them fucking.
I'm just saying it's
them, no?
it's
That's
a
a hot
hot take. It's a hot
take.
take.
That's a
So
hot
Matt, what's your
take.
hot take? What's your
So
hot
I
take,
had-
Matt?
Michael Jordan in today's game, everybody say he's gonna put up 50. That man is just a souped up DeMar DeRozan in today's game.
Wow. I mean, damn, DeMar DeRozan averages like 27.
Yeah, but the last 4 years, DeMar DeRozan averaged 20. But I think I don't think he put up 50 in any era except for like the 60s. He's a souped up DeMar DeRozan. He'd average 35 probably. Wouldn't shoot a three.
Nah, because
Great defensive player. He'd be like a Kawhi on defense, but
when you brought up this man Michael Jordan, I did not expect the next name out your mouth to be DeMar DeRozan.
he would
It's
still.
kind of throwing me through a loop
He
right
would
now.
be a top
It
3
is.
player in the league, top 2 player in the league right now, 100%. But he would just be DeMar DeRozan's
That's
game.
a good one.
He'd be DeMar DeRozan's
I
game.
don't know. I
I'm
mean,
crazy.
like for me, I only think Michael Jordan would be better because the refs favored him then. They'll favor him way more now.
Oh, yeah.
No, 100%. He would get the LeBron
He's
calls
gonna
left
get
and
every
right.
call
Yeah,
in the
he'd
book.
get all the LeBron calls.
Every
Yeah,
call in
yeah.
the book.
But I mean, like, game style, doesn't shoot threes. The only year he shot really well from 3 was when they moved it up. The 2 years they moved it up, so it was literally in his range. Like, come on,
But
bro.
yeah, also think
Oh,
about the best guard defenders in the league right now. And
Matt,
ask
you
yourself
just
if
pissed
they'd be
off a
able to
lot
I
of
do
pissed
that.
off everybody, bro.
You pissed off.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That's why I
We're
wanted
gonna
to
get
go
a lot
with
of hate
that one.
off
That's
of
why
that.
I wanted
A
to
lot
go with
of
that
hate.
one. Yeah,
I can already
My
see
other-
the spam in the comments. Bro, we don't know what he's talking
Nah,
about.
that
He's
is-
done.
nah.
That's a slobber. No, we snapped.
Yeah, we just disrespected
So, V-Man,
legends,
I mean-
bro. Alright, V-Man.
Like I said, Tom, I've told you how I felt on this situation before. And when I say it, you're gonna laugh. I know you are, because I know you're not gonna think that I would take this far. But I'm taking this far. Tim Duncan is the most overrated player I've ever seen in my life.
I knew you would.
Bro,
Oh wow.
bro, I just can't fake it with that
That's
guy,
a good
bro.
one.
I can't fake it with that guy.
Fuck.
Bro, he's the only superstar ever, bro, that has ever gotten clout off of beating the New York Knicks.
That's a fact.
His first championship was against the New York Knicks, the 8th seeded New York Knicks, without Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing got hurt,
Yep.
so they didn't even have the
My
best
boy
player.
John Starks was trying his hardest.
Like, come on, bro. I can't. And then
I mean, I agree for the
As
most
far as
part,
what?
And then I look.
That he's the most overrated.
Like he's in my opinion, yeah, I think Tim Duncan's overrated. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have this conversation eventually
100%,
another
100%.
day.
he's still a
But-
great player, but he's
Phenomenal.
definitely not top 10.
But that
Not top
system,
10.
that system feeded him that system treated him well, 100%. It fed him.
Like-
It fed him. But that system was easily built around him, like a LeBron system or anything. But that it catered to him very well.
He was a demon.
Oh,
so I mean, a
and
couple of
yeah,
those-
100%.
Oh, yeah, for sure,
And
for sure.
Defensively, he was a dog. But
Yeah.
It was like,
I know.
you're
I
the
know what you
only,
mean,
you're
though.
the
I know
only power
exactly.
forward in the league.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can contest you.
yeah, it was like what him.
You're the only power forward in
there
the
was-
league. I don't even remember.
KG flopped from center
like-
to power forward for half his career, and then Dirk. But
You got KG and Dirk.
KG and Dirk.
How many times a year do you play them guys?
Stoudemire a little bit later on, but
Because KG doesn't make the damn playoffs.
that's a fact.
Timberwolves
That's
wasn't
a
making
fact.
the playoffs.
That's a fact.
So you don't see KG in the play, so you got to worry about Dirk. That's your
it.
matchup of the
That's
year.
it.
Is Dirk. That's
and
it.
Dirk, he'll be a tough guard, but he got no defense on the other end, so you can just do whatever you
next
want.
best matchup comes from Pau Gasol when you play the Lakers.
Pau Gasol, dog, most underrated player.
For me, it was like I still don't appreciate Spurs basketball because of how boring it is, and I understand like basketball.
I don't know. I loved watching Spurs, but the ball movement was phenomenal, bro. I loved watching Spurs.
I love the Spurs towards the end when they beat LeBron. Like I think that was their last championship they won. It was hilarious watching a bunch of old
just go off. Yeah, a bunch of old dudes.
It was bugging.
Just a bunch of old guys and Kawhi Leonard.
Damn, that's tough because there's a lot of people talking about when they moved Curry into their top 10, who were they kicking out? And everyone was like, oh, it could be Shaq or Bird and everyone was like, I kicked out Tim Duncan as well.
yeah, for sure.
Everybody kicked out Tim Duncan. He wasn't even in yours,
right?
I
kicked out Monte Ellis.
Nah, it's like, cause there's some people that's really out there kicking out Wilt.
Crazy.
And Bill Russell. And I'm just like, bro, how?
They defined the game.
I personally cannot look at Wilt Chamberlain's numbers and disqualify him.
Bro, that guy was a statistical demon.
He would work in any era. Wilt, he would work in any era.
Yeah, because there was a good book that I read about Wilt Chamberlain and a couple of good interviews that like the way that they described him. Like, he was just this physical specimen that was just tall, overly
He did a 50-yard dash.
And honestly, they said that he could shoot, but, like,
there was no reason back then. There wasn't a three-point line.
Yeah, exactly.
But, he was at a party with a bunch of celebrities, and I don't remember, it was way back in the fucking 60s, so I don't know who the fucking best running back in the league was for the NFL, but they were at a party.
Hulk Hogan.
And they challenged each other to a 40-yard dash, and Wilt smoked that man, bro. He was a physical specimen, bro. Like,
and my opinion is like if you're gonna use that argument for different eras, no one did what Wilt did though during 100%. That era.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you had your huge game here. You had Bill Russell averaging, not
20
as
and
many
20.
rebounds,
He was
but
averaging
still
20. Yeah,
an unreal amount of rebounds.
I'll say Bill Russell was
like,
wilding still. He was wilding.
But like it was Wilt and a bunch of puny white men just
Bob Cousy. Bob Cousy.
Don't do that. Don't bring
Bill Russell and Bob Cousy.
I hate Bill Russell's defense.
Nah, that Celtics team. Back in the day, they were just bullying. They were signing all the good players up and down, and that was it.
Bro, it's because they kept winning. Their cap space was way above everybody else, bro. Like,
yeah, their shit was at 200,000.
Like, they're literally still getting benefits from that now. Like, they're literally still getting benefits.
Whenever I talk about, I mean, this is gonna piss all Celtics fans off, but whenever I talk about championships in modern era or just anything that has to do with things that count. Keep it a stack. As far as championships go, I don't count from like 70 and before. So,
I mean, I personally count every championship.
It was so stacked back
during
then,
that time.
It's
a little flawed because they had all the players, they had all the good guys.
There was 9 teams
battles,
and they had almost the whole All-Star team on their team.
The thing about that is that nobody ever brings that up.
Ever.
Like that's the kind of thing that I don't get about everybody in the super team arguments. Is because nobody, when they look at Bill Russell's 11 championships, nobody ever says anything
Everyone
about
wants to blame LeBron, KD.
And it's funny because then they'll go and look at Wilt and say like, oh, well, your stats don't mean anything because of the era you played in. Okay, but then they'll be the same people to say, Bill Russell. And
right.
Like, okay, all right.
It's tough.
But
and Will, like I said, man, if you like, there was no one like Will. Like, how are you gonna sleep with 5 women a day?
You can't keep doing this.
He has the
and not catch HIV. And not catch HIV. The GOAT.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
Probably has bad kids.
He did die young, low key.
Probably has mad kids,
Oh,
all
yeah.
this fame that he
Oh,
had
yeah.
back in the day. Because everyone said he was like almost as big of a celebrity as Hulk Hogan was at the time.
He was definitely like.
Oh yeah, I can
And
imagine.
with all that, knowing all that, he just walked into some random gym on Main Street every other day and just dropped 50 and 50.
100.
Oh my god, dude! I can see it. I can see why he slept with 5 women a day though, because back in the day, everyone was probably like, "Oh my god, he's an animal. He's an animal."
Nah, that's your real hot take. that's your real hot take.
Throw the Larry Bird one out the
Oh.
window. Now that Larry Bird one
I'm
is
just
wild.
saying,
I don't
man.
know about that. I don't know about
Why not?
Larry Bird. That's crazy. I don't.
I'm just saying, man, that guy was pretty fucking slow.
Facts. So you saying he would be a Kyle
You really-
Anderson
you really
rather
think
than a
they're-
Luka?
All right, see now you're just bugging.
That's slow mo. That's his
See,
nickname.
Matt, you're on a roll. Like I never thought I would hear Kyle Anderson as a first name I would hear after Larry Bird.
Bro,
Nah, I think he'd be more like a LaMarcus Aldridge in his prime.
A phenomenal player.
hey, that's
No,
good.
yeah, but not like you know. That's still not Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I mean,
I don't know.
that's the thing though. Larry Bird was another one of the Celtics that benefited from a good team.
Yeah. Son
So
came
it's
in
not
to
like-
Parrish,
you can't
McHale.
just say you're gonna drop Larry Bird in the league and expect him to be Larry Bird because Larry Bird also had a lot of help when he was in Boston. So you kind of got to drop him with his team to be Larry Bird. You get what I'm saying?
Right, and imagine if Larry Bird was in a Luka type situation. They would hound Larry Bird, and Larry Bird would
Imagine
die.
a lot of people being in a Luka situation.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but like Larry Bird specifically, like what is he gonna do, man? He's gonna be shooting over 4 people at the same time. I just don't see it. I just can't see it.
A lot of people have been in a
Was
Luka
he- and then
situation.
he's gonna pass to.
I mean,
LeBron
John
was in a
Lucas
Luka
III.
situation. Kobe was in after Shaq was in a Luka situation. Couldn't put nobody around him for a while. LeBron before he went to.
Wait,
A
who?
lot of people have been in.
So you said LeBron and who?
Kobe after Shaq was gone was in a Luka situation. Jordan before
These
he got
guys are
anybody.
freak
Yeah,
athletes.
it's just like,
Freak
but people
athletes.
only shit on the ones they want to shit on, but they don't
Bro,
shit on
Larry
everybody.
Bird, I promise you, Larry Bird when he was like 16,
He wasn't that.
just
bad.
walked. He went
What'd he-
to a
what'd he
park
say?
one day and just shot the ball, and he was like, "Wow, I can do this," and then just
That's
That
it.
was it.
That's all it took.
casually he was
He
just
was
in
damn
the NBA
good at
Oh,
it.
he was
years
phenomenal.
Damn good at
Yeah,
it.
Son
for
won
sure.
a 3-point
Later.
contest
Yeah, I
in a
ain't taking
jacket.
nothing away from Larry
He
Legend.
won a 3-point contest in a jacket.
Now that was raw. That was
Oh,
raw.
dog.
That was. Because I'd be dead by like the second rack.
You want to know how good Larry Bird is? He's the only white guy in the top 10.
Yeah, without a doubt. Unless you count Scalabrine, but
I forgot about that guy. Yeah,
That
that's
guy.
the go. Red
The
Mamba.
only white guy in the top
Red
10
Mamba.
is wild.
it's a fact.
Nah, because that's the truth. Because, like, even though I say that, I still put Larry Bird in my top 10.
Yeah.
Of course.
He defined what modern
Yeah,
basketball was turning into. Him
Again,
and Magic.
my top 10 kind of just tells the story of basketball.
Mine, yeah.
Like Larry, you
Yeah, no,
can't.
and that's going to be a big argument of my top 5 when we get to it a little bit later.
Yeah, you can't tell the story of basketball without mentioning Larry Bird. You just
yeah.
can't.
Yeah. And him and Magic.
I
you can't-
can
that time
without
of
Tim
basketball-
Duncan, though. I can.
Savage.
I can
Yeah,
tell the
'cause
story of
honestly,
basketball
100%.
without Tim Duncan.
100%.
Because I think you can just replace the word Tim
Spurs
Duncan
dynasty.
with the San Antonio
Spurs
Spurs. Yeah.
dynasty. That's what you can replace it.
And you could still explain the whole story
Yeah.
fine.
It wasn't
Perfect.
Tim Duncan.
And I can't wait to argue
Because
with
there's
someone
differences
about this.
between certain
I
dynasties.
hope one of you guys listening
yeah,
just want to argue.
because-
Oh yeah, bro.
If
you
anyone of
already,
you listening
you
wanna argue,
know,
I'm
you know they're gonna come. They're gonna
There's
come.
differences
You already
between
know.
certain
Hell
dynasties.
yeah.
You already know they're gonna
This
come.
Warriors dynasty is built. If there was no Steph, there would be nowhere near a dynasty. Without Tim Duncan,
Yeah, for sure.
they'd still be a good team. They wouldn't be a great team.
And that's the good thing about the Warriors because it's like
I love those
individually individually they were some really good players, but at the same time they work so beautifully as a team.
Oh yeah.
Like
Why the hell is Draymond Green this much of a functioning player?
Like why?
Like,
how
it's
does
great.
he mean
It's great
so
to see.
much to that team? But he does. He like
The San Antonio Spurs is like the Diet Warriors.
holy,
Like,
holy fuck. The Diet Warriors.
Speaking of the Warriors, because that's a crazy comment. Speaking of the Warriors, I kind of want to talk about Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that fucking jersey's been haunting me.
yeah, I was about to say
Damn.
it wasn't hard to tell.
So, we'll take you back. I'll tell a little bit of the story. Everybody knows the story because everyone still cries about it. So, Kevin Durant was just, living his life as an NBA player,
That's
right?
what we're calling it.
And he had it in the bag with OKC, and then the series against the Warriors happened. Now, the Warriors
Steph
had
Curry
swept
happened.
the season series. Yes, the Warriors had swept the season series, so a lot of people weren't expecting the Thunders to do anything to begin with. Remember that.
Oh yeah, they shouldn't have.
But they magically went up 3-1. They magically went up 3-1.
I'm gonna keep it a stack real quick. Sorry to interrupt. I have the stats in front of me for each game log. There should have been no reason they went up 3-1, bro. Durant and Westbrook, the whole series, each of them only had 2 good games. They should never have even been up 3-1, bro. Everyone likes to be like,
honestly,
they were so good. They should have never been up 3-1.
And one thing I want everyone to remember is that was the Warriors' 73-9 year, and they were brutally beaten down, you saw in the Cavs series, where they completely just fell apart. I thought they started falling apart in the Thunder series, but it's always about the team that falls apart.
Game 6
more,
play?
right? So, game 5, 6, and 7, obviously the Thunder fell apart. Obviously Kevin Durant could have done more in the fourth quarter of each game, but I also want to point out the fact that the Thunder had big leads in all 3 of those games, and each one was blown by Westbrook just shooting from wherever he wanted on the
You
court.
want to know what's funny?
And
The classic blame rush.
there was
KD
a
shot
specific
terrible
video
in
on
game
Facebook.
5, 4, 5, and 6. KD shot terrible.
No, and like I said,
7
Kevin
he
Durant
did
could have
good.
done better. There's
7
no
he did
questions
good,
asked.
but he's the only one who did good.
But if you go back and watch the games, and the Thunder were up ridiculous amounts, like 15, 18, 21, I think one game was. It would always be followed up by 3 or 4 straight possessions of Westbrook doing absolutely
Game
nothing.
6, KD went 1
and the
for 8
Warriors
from
getting
3.
bagged. And do you want to defend Westbrook here?
They're both dog shit. That's what I'm saying.
There is no defending.
They were
Right,
both
I'm telling
dog
you, Kevin Durant definitely had to do more, of course, but Westbrook was just Westbrooking it up on the court.
He's
Anyway,
always done that, though.
lo and behold, the Warriors win. Kevin Durant loses. He hugs Steph at the end. A lot of people thought it was weird
he
because
was
they
like,
were
"We
talking
coming
for a
home,
minute
big dog.
after that.
Coming home.
Because me, if I was Kevin Durant, I'm going to cry
coming
in the
home.
shower. Because me, I was one win, like one good finish away, because they were up big. Like I said, I was one finish away from winning the whole championship for OKC.
Yep.
So I get
Honestly,
the points that you guys are going to make with that.
One win,
But-
not even just one win. You were literally like one quarter. Like
No, that's what I'm saying. One
quarter,
phenomenal
bro. Like,
quarter away from winning.
we couldn't
everything,
keep it
'cause they
together. We couldn't keep it together for 12 minutes.
Yeah, they would have abused the Cavaliers in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Thunder energy was wicked during that.
I've been very adamant on both of these two statements that I believe that if the Thunder went to the finals instead of the Warriors, they would have won. And I believe that if the Rockets would have won in 2018,
That
they would
is
beat
a
the Cavs
fact.
as well.
That is a fact. CP3 and Harden would have that
I
ring.
stand by both
I
of
believe that one. The other take, see, all right, so
Giving if it plays out the same
100%.
way, if Bron still loses KD and Kyrie, or if he still loses Kyrie and Kevin Love, then come on, he's not going to survive KD and Westbrook.
Yeah. And
True.
with the growing popularity
well, no,
of
wait,
Westbrook,
talk something. No. That wasn't the year that he lost them. That was a 73-9 win team. That's
Oh,
the year.
yeah.
He
You're
had,
right,
he
you're
had
right,
a half.
you're right,
LeBron had a healthy team.
Oh yeah.
Nah, I don't think
Yeah, but still,
I don't
I-
think the Thunder take it.
Still, either way, the Thunder were on a different time. They were.
They
were
were
either
they
gonna-
were
a
great
very
defensively.
energetic, fun team.
They're-
It was to the point
And-
where it was they either lose to the Warriors or they win. That's the way I looked at the Thunder that year. Is they either lose to the Warriors or
Yeah.
they win.
And my hot take is I think they got a little bit of they kind of got slapped in the face. The Thunder did after Draymond didn't get the technical for kicking Steven
That's
Adams.
a fact. That's a fact. I thought twice.
I know.
Twice.
I talk about it a lot. I talk about it a lot because honestly, Draymond got the technical against the Cavs for something really dumb, because he was walking away and bitching. He wasn't in the ref's face. He was actively walking away and bitching.
Yeah.
But he kicked Steve, and I get it. Like, maybe it wasn't a purposeful kick.
He did it twice in like.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You have to give him a technical, and if he gets that technical, he gets suspended, and I don't think the Thunder lose Game 7.
True.
And then they go against the
100% believe
Cavs.
that.
And
Yeah.
they have,
But-
instead,
they needed that in their back pocket for the Cavs.
But I don't think
Exactly.
Conspiracy theory.
conspiracy theory. But I don't think.
Ding, ding.
I don't think. I don't think they would have beaten the Cavs. So that's the thing.
Why not?
So you want me to?
no answer for KD.
So you want me
They
to
had
do
no
that?
answer for KD
All right.
or
So this was the other hot take I was gonna do.
Because-
You want me to do it? Bro, I think the Cavs.
I know, but real quick,
All right,
1 second.
all right.
Before you say that, I want you to remember one thing.
Yeah.
That who on the Cavs was guarding Russell Westbrook? The Warriors always had somebody for Westbrook. Who did the Cavs have? Was Shumpert on the team then? No, right?
Yeah,
yes, no.
Yeah. Shumpert, J.R. Smith, they were on
That
the team.
that was their best defender at guard, I
He was a
believe.
great defender.
Who's guarding KD?
Yeah,
He
but
was
it's
guarding
just-
LeBron.
Yeah.
Who's guarding Braun? Roberson was.
Okay.
Yeah, Roberson was very annoying when
Roberson?
he faced,
Yeah, you're right.
time
Nah, he was a
Draymond.
great defender, but I think LeBron just would have bullied
That's
him.
the only thing else he
smashed
could
Rachel
do, but
Demita,
still.
man. He
Facts.
smashed Rachel Demita, man.
I forgot about that.
He's forever goated. I don't know how that happened,
I
but
forgot about that.
it was probably a wicked night in Utah or some
Crazy.
shit.
That nigga's probably the only player in NBA history to have more steals than points.
Is that an actual fact?
Yeah.
Like,
Nah,
okay, I
I'm
was
just
saying,
saying.
is that a real stat?
I just
could
remember
believe
all the
it.
times he was wide open.
Every time I looked at the box score, he had
Bro,
0
poor.
points.
Yo, you remember?
Okay.
You remember when, like, once KD left, and it was just Westbrook with the goon of dummies, and
Oh, yeah.
everyone would smoke Roberson when he went to the line, bro.
cancer.
Everyone would
yeah.
boo that man. Even Warriors,
Terrible, because he
OKC
never made
fans,
him, bro. He never made him.
Bro,
Bro, they would give it to him wide open at the 3 and just
run away.
Nothing.
They would just let him do it. They would go double team somebody else and let him just do him. Poor Roberson.
So to get back to the story
Yeah.
here, you know, let's think of everything that factored into KD leaving. The growing popularity of Westbrook and the growing opinion, I think that came from that, was that the two couldn't work together.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pressure on that. And then obviously, you know, Westbrook, when he got more popularity, which I think was kickstarted the season before that, he became more of a selfish player.
100%.
I think we can all agree on that.
Tornado with ball.
Yeah.
I think the writing was also on the
Tornado.
wall that if they didn't win the championship that
That
year
was it,
right
yeah.
there, I don't think they were gonna win a championship after that. And to your point, V-Man, yeah, if the scenario plays out a little differently, I think they would have had to beat the Warriors to have won anything after that. 'Cause I think
100%.
after that, I think it's done. And then another thing, it's KD's pressure. I mean, you're getting called one of the GOATs. You're getting called one of the best players to ever play basketball. You need to win
Something.
It's the same pressure that LeBron faced, because LeBron was facing this pressure too.
Yeah.
Are you gonna stay with the Cavs and risk, you know, your legacy, or are you gonna go to a team?
See,
that
I
can win?
just-
And obviously the Heat weren't as good
Honestly,
of
I
a team
hate
before.
that-
But you
that
have to
comparison.
also look. But you also have to look at the team that LeBron walked into. No matter what that record was for the Heat, they acquired Chris Bosh
Yeah.
too, and all of those veterans. So, you know, it
But that's
wasn't
the thing,
it wasn't
though.
Steph and Clay. It wasn't
wasn't
Steph and Clay and
established.
Draymond. It wasn't as good.
Wasn't
This is my
established.
thing about that Heat team, and honestly, this plays a factor into them losing the 2011
Yeah.
finals. Honestly, outside of Wade, Bosh, and Braun, they had nobody.
It was that year after that they started
Like,
getting people.
their team was honestly terrible.
It's a fact.
I mean, the Warriors became very, very thin because of the
Oh
contract.
100%.
Definitely. That's why Braun's meltdown was so big, because it was like it was magnified because there was nobody else to even try to step in for him.
Yeah.
So it was just
And
like
LeBron-
whenever he underperformed, it was just
And
terrible.
when LeBron went to the Heat, LeBron, they didn't know whose team it was. The first year, LeBron said, "Nah, Dwayne, it's your team, bro." That's why.
Man, fuck all that.
He
You
shouldn't
know damn
have.
well
He shouldn't
it's
have.
LeBron. It's LeBron's team the moment he signed.
But
bro.
he, in his head,
I don't want to hear nothing else.
but he wasn't playing like it was his team that first year.
Bro, and in LeBron's head, it was LeBron's team.
He wasn't playing like
team,
it,
bro.
He was conceding.
Honestly, LeBron. That's the thing about LeBron is he can always say whatever he wants.
You know what's hilarious?
But
he was conceding a lot.
What's hilarious is I just had this argument with somebody earlier about it being D Wade's team and D Wade not being able to finish his job.
Man. let me ask you guys though. Matt, put yourself in Kevin Durant's shoes just for a second and consider everything.
Yeah.
Consider everything. You just came off of a very, very heartbreaking loss to the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
All right, you're sitting there. You have this now. All of a sudden, you have this big free agency decision.
Yeah.
Right? Are you gonna pick the team that you just got absolutely brokenhearted with, or are you gonna pick the team that calls you and says, "Yo, we have the best player, best player in the NBA. I think at the time everyone could agree was Steph. He was snapping. We were just 73-9. We were just one win away from winning the NBA championship. Come solidify your legacy.
Was it
it's gonna
a
suck at
smart
first.
move?
You're gonna get a lot of
Yes.
hate. Yes, it was the best business decision in NBA history.
But
when this
In
question
NBA
comes
history.
to me, I have a very hot take for this.
Yes, it was
when it
the
comes to
best business decision he could have ever done, even though now people still call
Any
him
NBA player, including LeBron James, would have signed with the
100%.
fucking Warriors.
I'm not saying it was a
Anybody.
bad business decision.
Besides Bradley Beal.
I'm not saying it was a bad business decision. It was a phenomenal business decision. But, yes, he got his rings. He got his finals MVPs.
Thomas wants
That's a
justice for
fact.
KD.
But people
yeah.
still are sitting here saying, "Oh, those rings are fraud. Those rings." So it's just like, I'm gonna keep it a stack. He could have went with the Wizards, who had a great John Wall and a buddy, coming up Bradley Beal. Hometown could have went with the Celtics. They had a good team around them. It's just like, yes, it was the best business decision. It was his best chance to win a ring, 100%. But it was a weak move, 100%. Would I have made that decision? Probably. I'm not in that shoe. I'm not in his shoes. But it was a weak decision. That's just all it was. Does he have 2 Finals MVPs? Yes, he got them.
Matt, no matter what anybody says, everyone is going to refer to Kevin Durant as a 2-time NBA champion and a 2-time...
That's why I said, yeah, he's got those rings. He's got the Finals MVPs. That's it. But was it the weakest move of all time? 100%.
But it's not like he sat there and just got carried. He was wilding.
Yeah.
It was fun.
He was the best player in the
beautiful
world.
to watch.
He was the best player in the world.
Bro, he destroyed LeBron.
Yeah, he was the best player in the world at that point. Those 2 years, just because...
I don't know, that version of KD...
The Warriors destroyed the Cavs. I wouldn't say you destroyed LeBron.
No, yeah.
No, there was some things
right.
that were very embarrassing for LeBron.
Embarrassing for LeBron.
Man, do you not remember LeBron just getting sent to the floor by KD on a pump fake? That was
Oh,
nuts.
don't do that one. Bro, you literally see his feet come out from under him. It was straight, he slipped. I know what play you're talking about. His feet literally just come out from under him, bro. But no, LeBron and KD were easily the 2 best players in the world. You could throw up whoever was the best. They were both playing.
It was LeBron. During that time,
They
the
were
best player
both
in the league
playing
was LeBron.
at
For sure.
all-time great levels. In that 2-3 year span. They were both playing at all-time great levels. So, I mean, it's just, I
ain't gonna lie, LeBron was wild.
Fucking...
Bro, do you guys remember after that series with the Celtics after Game 7, and fucking Bron's in the locker room? He has ice covering his whole body. He looks old as shit. He looks like he just fought a war.
Oh yeah,
and it's that meme that says "I look like this." So, and I think they had Dante Jones and James Jones just holding the conference finals trophy. He's like, "I look like this, so they can look like this," and they're all just fresh looking, no sweat. No battle wounds. They're just with cigars and
Dante
shit.
Jones? That motherfucker.
Bro, he got fined his whole salary that year.
Yo, bro. So I remember seeing this article. He apparently had a whole storage locker at a facility filled with classic J's. Like the whole storage facility. size of a fucking like half a house, filled to the brim with J's. His manager forgot to keep paying it, and they like did a storage war on it and sold it. And like without opening it, somebody bought his storage facility.
That's crazy.
For all his J's, and he goes like a few months later to go to it, and it was gone. All his classic J's, bro.
Bro, that's only something that would happen to Dante Jones too. How do you not have that storage
boxes?
Unit on
I would have been
Yeah,
tight, bro.
Yeah.
I would have.
But I'm saying, like, how do you not have that storage unit like on lock?
Bro.
That's like
bro.
valuable.
PJ Tucker would never.
Would never.
Would
absolutely.
He probably
never.
has every single pair has a tracker on it.
Bro.
He bought a complete house for
his shoes.
I'm pretty sure.
That's some Chris Brown shit.
Got a fucking dog
So,
house
I mean,
and everything.
So to finish the story on Kevin Durant, he wins 2 MVPs, wins 2
Finals
championships,
MVPs.
gets into a petty argument with Draymond Green. They go and face the Raptors. The Raptors win because KD destroys his Achilles. Clay tears his ACL. Draymond wasn't 100%.
Marcus Cousins died the whole year.
Just there to.
Steph was also 100% as well.
Yeah, that whole team was worn down.
My point to when I told you guys earlier that I said that the Warriors were really thin, it just proved it there.
Oh, at that point,
that,
yeah,
those,
that team,
that fourth quarter,
that
fourth quarter in the last game of those finals.
Yeah. They
you lost every guy you pay money to.
Iggy was not good, or he was in and out of injury. Sean Livingston was done already. They didn't have Barbosa or Barnes. They didn't have Vasily anymore. McGee was in and out of the rotation. Was he even on the team that year?
If I'm not mistaken, Kevon Looney was also hurt as well.
And I think he was a rookie that year.
Bro, they were just completely... bro.
Something like that. Yeah. But it's just like that team, that Raptors,
that team was fried, bro. They was cooked.
Yeah. And 5 straight years to the finals, that tires anybody out, bro. That tires anybody out.
Except for LeBron James, because he did it,
9 in a row.
Yeah.
So, Matt, what's your take? What's your official Kevin Durant take?
Oh, it was the best business decision of all time, but the weakest conscious decision of all time. That's always going to be my take on it. He's still a top 15 player of all time to me. Like, it's not.
I don't know how you can say it's a good business decision, but like a weak move because it's a business at the end of the day.
100%. But as I'm just saying, morality standpoint, like you're conscious.
It's good business, weak-hearted.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're just such a KD stan that like you just would never.
No. Or
100% a KD.
At very first, like the first day of the trade, I was like, wow, he did OKC dirty.
No, he didn't do OKC dirty. OKC did him dirty for years.
OKC did themselves dirty.
No. I wanted him to leave.
OKC did.
I just had no idea he was going to the Warriors. I expected him to leave.
Yeah, they did.
I would have been fine if he just left and went to a team that was just building around him. But at the same time, best business decision was going to the Warriors.
But I'm saying if he goes to like the Clippers, which was the only other team he was probably going to go to besides the Warriors.
The Celtics had Tom Brady at their meeting. Fuck that. He could have gone to the Celtics.
Nah, that's a fact.
Celtics had Tom Brady at that meeting.
How did he not go to the Celtics?
Yeah, bro.
You got the GOAT.
Tom Brady want to talk? You better go talk.
They had Tom Brady at their contract.
If he's telling you about to get a ring in Boston, you're about to get a ring in Boston.
My son, KD.
No, Al Horford went to Boston. Al Horford initially went to Boston because
he thought KD was going 100%.
He was tight.
It's been a storybook career.
My
for
son
Al
Horford still don't got a ring though, man.
So V-Man, tell us what you think.
All right, regarding KD. First and foremost, I do not fault him for leaving the Thunder.
Yeah, no.
Because for some reason, I didn't like the label that they gave KD as a snake. Because I didn't really see it as a snake move. Because people like to see it as, oh, you was the face of the Thunder, you were loved by the community, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's all just the face value of it, but the reality of it was the Thunder actually showed him disloyalty before anybody else did. Remember,
over and over.
Yep.
He wanted them to pay James Harden, they did not. He wanted Scott Brooks as the coach, they fired him.
Yep.
So it's like, he's asking for other pieces to be brought in. They're not being brought in, so it's like, all right, what am I really here for? You're not doing anything for me. You're not getting rid of this problem, and you're not trying to help me fix the problem. So, boom. Now, as far as him going to the Warriors goes, like Matt said, it's definitely the best business decision that you could ever made. Would I have made it? No, I would have not have made it. Well, me personally, I would have made it because, Steph Curry.
I was about to
Feel
say.
me? Boom. But if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm speaking in terms if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm not going because, again, like I said, this is my hot take on this. There's actually another situation that I believed he could have stepped in and got the same, if not better, result. Could have went to Houston. That's exactly where I thought he was going. I never thought
because that year they got.
I thought he was going to Houston.
Was that the year they got rid of Dwight Howard and they had Cap, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they had mad Cap.
Yeah.
James Harden's playing out of his fucking mind. Obviously, like I just said, he wanted to play with James Harden to begin with. They have a good high-off offensive system. They already have beef with the Warriors.
Yep.
So it's kind of like I'm joining my friend to beat my enemy, instead of joining my enemy to beat my friends.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying?
I've never even thought about going to Houston. That's
Because the Warriors
sense.
are not beating the Rockets with James Harden and Kevin Durant. They're not.
Nah. That's
100%
a dog
and
team.
I don't believe that the Cavs would have beat them.
Prime James Harden, bro. People sleep on Prime James Harden. They just think about who he is now.
Because remember, at that time, they still had Clint Capella on rookie contract as well. So they still had a big.
Yep. They had Pat Beverly as a dog.
Pat Beverly,
dog.
James Harden at the 2.
Jeremy Lin. No, I'm playing.
It's honestly,
he was not there anymore.
It's the same situation, honest. The reason I compare it to LeBron is because it was just like they both left, made a quick business trip elsewhere for some guaranteed rings to get their career on its foot, and then just left for a team that they could probably, lead. I mean, I know this Nets situation has been horrible, but I feel like if they were healthy and playing last year when they faced the Bucks, I feel like they would have had a lot of success. Because Kevin Durant was finally... I think if there was one thing he took out of Golden State, that was how to be a good leader, because he was leading the hell out of those guys. But to each their own. With with Kyrie Irving, there's a big difference.
That's the problem. That's why it's not working, because neither one of those guys are good leaders at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I don't think Kevin Durant's a good leader either. But I think in that year, that was the year I finally saw.
It's not
Kevin
that he's
Durant
not a good leader. He doesn't want to be the leader.
He doesn't want to.
He straight up said that.
And okay,
he could be a good leader. He could be a good leader.
See, and that's another thing. It's like, how can you sit here and just say like the people that sit there and say, oh, Kevin Durant.
Holy shit.
He never wanted the spotlight. He never wanted to be he just
wanted
wants the
to
ball,
just go out and ball.
And he obviously doesn't care about his appearance, because look at his hair and his beard and how skinny he is. He just wants to show up, ball, be a dog, and leave.
KD is literally just a pure form of a hooper.
He's a hooper at the highest level, bro.
He don't really care who's on the court with him. Obviously, he does have his preferences, but he doesn't really care who's on the court with him. Just give him a ball
and let him go to work. That's it.
And a shot clock, and that's it.
Yeah, he never wanted to be the leader of any team.
And it's it really took me a minute to really understand that about him, because it was
100%.
It got to the point where it was when he left the Warriors, you're just questioning all right, what are you doing? What really clearly winning doesn't make you happy neither. You feel me? And it's so what is it that makes you happy? What makes you go? And to be honest with you, I don't even think he's really figured that out yet, which is why he's not a good leader.
So either.
He's not a good leader, literally because of that.
Yeah.
Because if he knew what he was going after and what he wanted to achieve, there's nobody that's going to be able to stand in his way.
No, like
nobody can stand
bro,
his way, which is why he's KD.
That's like, bro, he's KD for a reason.
But
He's still
yeah,
a phenomenal player. But
KD really went out there and said, "Yo, I want to achieve this. This is what we're doing." 9.9 times out of 10, it's gonna happen.
9.9 is a crazy
like,
number.
When it's all said and done, I think one of the biggest what if stories of all time, once I think it settles in for a couple more years, is what could have been if James Harden was healthy during that playoff series and Kyrie Irving. I mean, just in general, if all three of those played consistently, that's going to be one of the biggest what-ifs. Because I personally feel like they would have destroyed the league, especially since their surrounding cast wasn't bad at all. It was a bunch of young dudes that could just fucking run up and down the court.
They would have demolished the Suns.
And it's like, bro,
they would have demolished the Suns.
It's that, but on the flip side of that, I was just about to say that we could say the exact same thing for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Suns would have even beaten us if we was healthy. 100%.
Oh, dude. And we saw it, like, when we went to Staples Center.
Like,
when it was still the Staples Center.
Yeah.
And we saw those three play against the Pistons and actually have a good game. It's good. It's nice to see, because when Westbrook gets going, no matter how bad he is on the season, when he gets going, that's motivating for everybody.
100%.
Everybody 100%. In the arena. His teammates, when AD is going, everyone is hyped. Like, when AD's a monster. And then you just have LeBron, who that, like... Me personally, as much as I don't really like Westbrook, as much as I don't really like LeBron, I respect both, but as much as I don't really like either, I really want to see this trio work. It's the same thing I feel about Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons. Like, I want these two to meet. But it's just so much other things that
Ben Simmons could work phenomenally. Ben Simmons could work phenomenally with those two. If he doesn't play a guard position.
He lacks the adult mentality. I'm sorry, but Ben Simmons lacks the adult
mentality.
I've
been saying this for 2 years now. Ben Simmons is a hyper-athletic Draymond Green, bro. If he gets a leadership ability, bro, defensive dog, can run the floor. If he just gets a leadership mentality and matures, he could be a Draymond Green type player. Don't try to score.
What the hell is even wrong with this
guy? Who knows?
But that's the exact thing, because it started off in LSU, I believe that's where he went to college.
Yeah.
And he gave up on them.
Yeah.
They didn't even make the NCAA tournament.
I remember that.
Because he gave up. He goes to the 76ers. Obviously, he didn't want to be there when they were
the process
struggling. I think he was their first pick, right, during that whole. No, Nerlens Noel was the year before, I believe.
Yeah.
But
Embiid was a few years before, but he was out for 2 years.
Obviously, he didn't want to be there because he broke his foot. And how old was he when he entered the league? 19, 20? You're telling me a broken foot sidelined him that whole first year?
They redshirted him.
Yeah, but like at the same time, as a basketball player, you're gonna want to be out there and not miss a whole season.
So I don't think that was a him decision. I think that was a team decision, because they were doing the same thing with Embiid for a minute too.
But what I'm saying is, at any point in time, just like Embiid did, and I believe that second year that he was there, the year that he came back, and they didn't want him to come back. I know you guys remember that story.
Yeah.
He forced himself to play, and it was a good idea because obviously we see what he turned into. But if at any point, because they gave Ben Simmons the keys of the franchise, they were hyping him up as the big thing.
Yeah, they were definitely taking
get up and play. But he was just like,
I don't hold that rookie year.
Whatever, I'll go with your guys.
I don't go with that. I don't hold that rookie year against him at all.
And then I mean, I don't like using the he can't shoot argument against him.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But at the same time, how are you shooting all these threes and all these good shots in the offseason, and you're showing up and you're like the biggest pussy I've ever seen?
It's not even that he can't shoot. He just doesn't attempt. So we don't even know if he can't shoot.
We don't even know if he can shoot.
He just doesn't fucking attempt them, bro.
And to V-Man's point,
wide ass open.
Right, and to your point, V, it's like, I don't know what's wrong with this guy, because at any point in time he could wake up and be one of the best players to ever play this game.
Bro, coming out of college, they were comparing him to Bron.
Yeah,
he's Bron without a shot.
Like,
better defensively.
Come on, bro. This is a guy that's in GOAT contention right now, and people
what
are calling you him.
What was his normal averages? Like 15, 8, and 8 or
Yeah,
something
about
like
that.
that?
15, 16, and 8.
Literally, the rest of LeBron's points to get him to 27 and 28 comes from his actual jump shot.
Yeah.
So literally, it's Ben Simmons' Bron without the jump shot.
Literally.
But it's like it's weird. He doesn't want it because I don't think they win the series this last year, but I think they would have had a chance if Ben Simmons played. At least to take a couple games to make some noise.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
he completely.
It would have taken so much of the
Nets.
load off of Kyrie Irving, for example, who was struggling with Ramadan.
That was a big factor too. Like Kyrie had no energy. If I'm KD or Kyrie, I kind of don't even want that guy on the court with me now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I can't trust you to be there when I need you the most, why are you even here at all?
That's a fact.
I mean, also at the same time, to be the devil's advocate to that, it was a mess. I really didn't like. Honestly, at first, before that series started, I said, the Nets have a chance. But then I think that was kind of just me hoping for the best because once that series started, I think after game 2, I was like, wow.
I said it. I was like, yo, whoever wins this is more than likely going to the finals.
Yeah, that was...
I know you remember
that was one of those, like... I was sitting there like, damn. I took the Nets in it, too, because I was just like, bro, I can't count against KD and Kyrie.
Because it was
I was just like...
I can't really see a team that's going
to
beat Brooklyn. I can't see a team that's going to beat Brooklyn. But if Boston is the team to do it, I don't think anybody's going to be able to beat them.
They just matched up so well. Boston did. They just matched up so well.
Yeah.
And Al Horford played.
Yeah, he played out of his mind.
Marcus Smart guarding Kyrie was perfect. It was just like...
So, I'm going to transition this because we're talking about, leadership from the point guard position. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about being a good point guard and being a good team player. So let's talk about, since I'm sitting here with 2 Lakers fans, I want your guys' opinion. V-Man, you first on the CP3 trade.
That never happened.
That was vetoed.
Oh, man.
It's tough.
Oh.
Tough.
Pain, just pain. Because it didn't even make sense. Like,
so tough.
The reasoning behind it didn't make sense. Like, you vetoed... Because, honestly, the trade was fair. It was 100% fair. I believe the Lakers were only getting Chris Paul back. It was a 3-team trade between the Lakers, the Rockets, and the Hornets. The Lakers were getting Chris Paul back. The Rockets were getting Pau Gasol. And the Hornets were getting Lamar Odom, Louis Scola, Kevin Martin, and Goran Dragic. Those are just the players that were involved, not to mention all the other picks and, all that other good stuff. Yeah, so I'm like, all right. The Lakers get their guy. The Rockets at the time were lacking height. They were very small at the time. So Pau Gasol fixes that immediately. Yep. And the Hornets just get Kevin Martin, who at the time was a rising star. Yep. Louis Scola is a vet. Lamar Odom's a vet. Goran Dragic was a young, good, serviceable point guard at the time. So it's like everybody is in good hands at this point in time. Yeah. Like, there's no reason why this trade should be vetoed.
They had asked GMs.
All the money matched. All the money was matching up. Everything was fine. The reason why it only got vetoed was because of the fact David Stern was afraid that it would look like a scandal.
Yeah.
Because at the time, the Hornets did not have an owner. So the NBA was taking ownership of the Hornets until they... evidently found a buyer.
Bad to buyers that they just shipped out their young star. But then they still shipped out their young star.
There was that, and the fact that we had just came out of a lockout. So, from what I remembered and the information that I gathered, was the trade actually went through. Everybody agreed to it. The Rockets agreed to it. The Lakers agreed to it. The Hornets GM agreed to it. Boom. The Hornets GM told everybody that everything is going to go through, which is why it even got announced, because the trade officially got announced, like through SportsCenter and ESPN and, all that, the coverages and stuff. So, which is how we even found out about it. Because they said they approved it, blah, blah, blah. He's supposed to come to the Lakers. Boom. After that gets out, David Stern contacts the GM of the Hornets and was like, no, what are you doing? And he's like, what do you mean? Everything matched up. Everything is good. I just told everybody, everything was getting approved. And then David Stern's exact response to it was, we just came out of a lockout. You think we can make any trades right now? And I'm like, what does that even matter? Why does that even matter? Like, that literally holds no weight over anything. We just came out of a lockout, so you can't make a trade. But then you go ahead and approve him going to the Clippers. And you chalk it up as basketball reasons. Like, there was no reason. That's my biggest issue with that trade, is that there's still really no answer as to why it didn't happen. So,
no real reason. It was.
So.
You're good.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
So, I mean, I'll make my quick take because obviously I'm not the Lakers fan here, so it doesn't hurt my heart as much as it hurts you guys. But I honestly, and I don't think I've shared this opinion with you guys because I always said it just was what it was. Like, it's just crazy. But I honestly do think it was a big NBA cover-up. And the reason why I say that is because if you think about it, besides Stephen Curry, they've always tried to knock down the other guy that challenged LeBron and Michael Jordan as the two biggest people in the league, and they just didn't want to run with Kobe.
He was the bad guy.
It's also another reason why the media really continuously drove Kobe and Shaq apart because of what that was becoming.
Because now, honestly, just to piggyback off of that real quick, because I believe if we get that trade, we go to the finals. And if we go to the finals, we take.
You guys win. I think you guys win at least 2.
Yeah, we take the place of the Dallas Mavericks, who beat that Miami Heat team that year. So we would have got the Kobe Bron finals matchup we want. And honestly, I really believe the Lakers would have won, and Kobe would have got the better of them, and that would have been the end of that.
Right. And also think about Dwight Howard. NBA hated that guy. The NBA hated Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a huge reason he got so much negative heat in LA. It wasn't because, whatever. It was just fuck Dwight Howard. And, it's understandable.
Bro, that's clear to see with the refs. The refs, blatantly discriminate against him.
100%. 100%.
Like, bro, he picks up so many fouls, he's almost unplayable now. Like, you can't even put him on the court.
How bad that went, I honestly don't blame Dwight because Dwight wanted to just come to LA and play with Kobe, and then there was probably talk of that trade eventually happening. Like, I imagine the Lakers were working on that huge trade for a little bit, and he saw that as an opportunity, and all of a sudden now they don't have that third player. And Dwight has all this pressure, and
what you bring as
way more than Orlando.
Steve Nash.
Right, way more than Orlando. Yeah, Steve Nash. Like, that's what the Lakers had to do because it was.
Inside.
I was about to say the guy hurt his back carrying milk into his house, bro. Carrying
so
milk into his fucking house.
It sucks because obviously I'm a huge Dwight Howard fan. Now, looking back at it, I would have loved to see Kobe get, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or how much ever that ended up being more rings. But it would have undoubtedly.
They couldn't have.
I was going to say, it would have undoubtedly made Kobe the best story ever
100%.
in the NBA, which
100%.
a lot of people would have leaned more towards him than they ever would have Jordan or LeBron.
100%.
And they couldn't have that.
I actually agree with that. That's actually a conspiracy that I never really thought about.
Right. And on Chris Paul's end, I mean, look at all the times, like, the NBA has just...
Yeah, they shit on him.
Kind of shitted on that guy.
They shit on him repeatedly.
The refs. Like, every time... Like, the Clippers, when they were in the playoffs, there was so many times I'm just like, what is going on with this officiating?
He just had very misfortunate. Because if it wasn't them blatantly discriminating, it was him getting injured. So,
and you're telling me that there's no way that trio wouldn't have worked because you're talking about 100%. Kobe, who was a demon during that time. He was still
putting
up
28.
Early 30s at this point?
Mid 30s.
Maybe 31?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was 33 around that time.
Yeah. So he wasn't old. I mean, I know he ended up tearing his Achilles, but who knows if that happens with different players on the court? Whatever, fate.
No, because he's not killing himself trying to get a bucket.
See, that's the thing, yeah.
And now you're talking about now you're going to have one of the best point guards ever passing to him. and then you're going to have the luxury of having one of the best centers just chilling, waiting for the
100%.
basketball. There's no way it doesn't work.
See, that's my take on it, just because, man, like Kobe, those last few years before, like, he was straight just injury prone. It's just he would go out for a little injury, and the team would fall apart, and he would come back and fight for them to make an 8th seed and kill himself doing such. And it's just like if he had,
Bro, that boy fought so hard.
if he had,
I was
bro,
so hurt.
I remember it's just like we're like, oh yeah, they made it to the playoffs. What was it? The Spurs round 1. Kobe got hurt, and I'm just like, tough. But it's just like, if you had a CP3 to lead that team, Kobe wouldn't need to come back. Because CP3 has consistently showed on every new team he goes to. Even this
honestly,
Thunder
that's really
team
what
a
it
few
boiled
couple years
down
ago
to.
when he went to, bro, they were dirt, and he brought them to the playoffs. Like CP3 would have been able to handle it, let Kobe rest, let him get his stretch of games that he needs to rest out. And they would have been able to handle that shit. They would have been able to fight through.
And CP was a good scorer.
No, he was averaging 19 and a half, 20 points. 19 points.
Yeah.
19 and 9 was around his averages then. Like, come on.
That's really what it boiled
Chris Paul
down
might have
to.
broken the all-time assist record playing next to Dwayne.
Oh my god.
It's like
Oh my god.
that's really
That pick
what
and
it
roll
boiled
would have been
down to, 'cause
ridiculous.
It was like you swap Chris Paul out with Steve Nash. Literally, you see that they already made the playoffs with Steve
Yeah.
Nash. If you swap him out with Chris Paul, they're definitely a higher seed. Definitely a higher seed. You have a better playoff positioning. So then with that comes probably more rest for players,
100%.
which prevents injuries, which does a lot of things. Like, that Chris Paul trade really would have changed a lot.
It would have changed, like,
100%
the
would
league
change a lot.
at that, like, era. Those, like, next 4 years would have changed how the history of the league went. 100%.
And it's crazy because that whole scenario really, it has a lot of what ifs.
100%.
Too many.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, one of my favorite what ifs behind the whole situation, and it's crazy because it has nothing to do with the Lakers, but there was another team sneakily around the Chris Paul trades, and nobody really knew it, but after doing, like, I dove into the research and, feel me, I found this out. He actually wanted to play for the Knicks.
Really?
He wanted to play with Melo and Amari Stoudemire.
I did not
And
know
that
that.
is
that
true.
what if
I remember
what
those
if is
days.
crazy, bro. That what if is really
Nah,
crazy to
that's-
me because that's another team that could have did something.
Imagine,
Because
bro,
the Knicks were the other team that were there with the Clippers. However, obviously the Knicks didn't have enough because they had gotten
Melo with a
recently.
passing first prime point guard. We haven't seen that. We
Yeah.
haven't seen that.
Yeah,
That would have taken the burden off of Amari too, because
Yeah.
what happened was that it was Melo and Amari and just a whole bunch of role players.
My son Raymond
So Amari
Felton
had to
and
carry,
old
like,
Jason
literally-
Kidd.
Yeah, like Amari had to carry the whole entirety of the inside of the paint until Tyson Chandler eventually got there. So it and Amari, he was run down with the Suns.
Yeah. Steve Nash was overusing that motherfucker.
Because fucking Steve Nash wouldn't stop giving him the damn ball. I can't do nothing with it, so here.
That's a fact.
You feel me? Like, yep, and I get 2 MVPs off of that. Great fucking job, man. Bro, I think Steve Nash has performed more high fives than
Holy
he has
fuck.
crossovers. In his
I
NBA
think if
career.
his name was anything other than Steve Nash, he probably wouldn't have been as popular as he was. I'm just saying. It's like, come on, it's
I'm gonna
a
keep it
nice,
a
it's catchy. Steve Nash, like, let's go, Steve Nash.
I don't know about that, but I'm gonna keep it a stack. If he wasn't in Mike D'Antoni's fast fucking pace 7-second or less system, he would have still been a good point guard. Because when he left Dallas, he was a good point guard, but he wouldn't have been what he was.
So
at
for-
all. that offense catered.
Me personally, I definitely feel like Jason Kidd was
Yeah, I
better.
agree with that.
100%. I believe Jason Kidd was better.
Did Jason Kidd ever have
Better
the team
defensively
that Steve
by
Nash had
a
with the
long
Suns?
shot. Huh?
Did Jason Kidd ever have the team that Steve Nash had with the Suns?
He had 2 back-to-back final appearances with the Nets.
But did he have the team that Steve Nash had with the Suns?
And he had Kenyon Martin and Richard
closest,
Jefferson.
I mean, those Nets
Vince
teams,
Carter.
not taking anything away from them, but we knew they weren't going to win the championship at the end of the day. I mean, if I was actively watching basketball during then, I wouldn't have.
I mean, what they go against the Lakers and the Pistons?
I'm about to say, bro, you ran into Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah.
Who do you like?
Yeah.
What did you really expect?
Yeah, you ran into Shaq and Kobe. It's just like you can't do much, bro.
I mean, I feel like if he had the team that Steve Nash had, he would have done better. I think if you put Jason Kidd in that situation instead of Steve Nash, they're wilding. I think maybe once they get lucky and win the whole thing, maybe. Because the underrated fact about Jason Kidd was his leadership. He was one of the best leaders in the NBA.
He also did beat his wife. Anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck off, man.
Yo, wow.
He was a way better defender.
So that's what this is about, Matt? That's what this is about?
All you women out there, man,
Way
got
better.
your back.
I got you. He was a way better defender, though. Way better defender than Steve Nash. Steve Nash was a way better shooter.
And a lot of the times it came down to the
And
defense
their passing
that Steve
ability-
Nash couldn't play.
True. And their passing ability was about equal. You can't say shit. So, I mean, like, I could see anybody taking either one. To me, they're pretty, like, in my ranking, like, point guard ranking, they're right next to each other. One is in front of the other. That's it. They're right next to each other.
Jason Kidd's also a better read.
100%. 100%. He was a triple-double threat every night.
Definitely a better rebounder.
So speaking of
He was a triple-double
Speaking
threat.
of important positions, Matt, we'll have you lead off on this one. What is, in your opinion, the most important position?
It's just
basketball?
such, like, you're the type of guy who likes, like, a Spurs, passing the ball all the time. That always starts with a point guard. Getting to, like, a Chris Paul, Tony Parker, even a fucking Lonzo Ball. You don't necessarily need to get the assist, but you need to get, like, a hockey assist. Get the play going, something like that. And a paint guy, you go for a center. But, I mean, it's such a hard thing. The two best players, top three best players in the world, to me, of all time, are 2 shooting guards, though. So, I mean, like, it might be shooting guard. It's just such a hard thing. I don't know. Let's work into this one, because that's something I really don't know off the top.
I'm gonna go ahead and answer, and I mean, I thought you were gonna steal my answer with the shooting guard. I go shooting guard. The reason why I go shooting guard is because again, exactly as you mentioned, Kobe and MJ. When you have a shooting guard that is broken, you win games. When you have a
100%.
shooting guard that's missing shots, you lose games. And that's honestly
100%.
just the way it is. And yeah, you could probably argue, well, if the point guard doesn't have good IQ or all that other stuff. But I've seen so many, scenarios come down to, did the shooting guard that they had or the top shooter on the team do good or not?
Honestly, to further back your statement just now, you could actually take the fucking the Thunder as an example of that. Because when James Harden was rolling, they was unstoppable.
Yeah.
But when he shot terribly, they pretty much lost.
That's a fact.
And then you can also use, I mean, it's maybe a worse example, but DeMar DeRozan with the Raptors, he was a shooting guard and a small forward, but
he did play
mostly
shooting guard
he played
back
next
then.
to Kyle Lowry, and when he wasn't good, it all fell apart.
They were terrible.
And obviously, there's going to be some scenarios where, that it disproves my case. But I just think shooting guard, if you're top, and mostly the top shooter on the team is a shooting guard. If the shooting guard isn't hitting his shots, you don't even have a chance.
So I'm not even going to say a position. I'm just saying if you're a wing player, so like a 2 or a 3, that's the most important position to me, a wing player. Somebody who plays that 2 or 3. That will most likely be the highest scorer, will most likely carry your team in more stats than most. That type of guy to me is the best.
Matt, you kind of look like
More
PJ
important.
Tucker.
Yeah,
if he
Matt.
was-
I just don't believe that.
If you just grew a little bit of color, I could see it. I could see
Now,
it.
see, I'm not
Just
allowed
went
to
straight
say that
balls.
one, guys, but
Yeah. See that? That's why I just.
So what do you think?
I'm happy he said it.
I feel like me and Matt is kind of like two sides to the same coin. Because whereas he's more of the wing shooting guard, small forward, I'm actually more geared towards forwards in general. Like more so the small forward and power forward. The reason why I say that is because I actually went through and I examined some of like these real championship teams, and it's like you kind of don't win without a forward. Like, and I asked myself, I'm like, all right, where do you get your energy from normally? Like a normal basketball team, it usually comes from the real gritty players, which are usually the wings. Feel me? The Dylan Brooks, the Kelly Oubre's, guys like that.
Harrison
like guys
Barnes.
that had the ability to make play. Yeah. Most notably lately, Andrew Wiggins.
100%.
Was what Andrew Wiggins did
Phenomenal.
for the Warriors.
Michael Bridges, not Miles Bridges.
I'm about to say, like I said, if you go back and look through the championships teams, they all have a relevant forward. Like this year with the Warriors, obviously Andrew Wiggins. Last year, Giannis was the forward. Yeah. Before that, Bron and Anthony Davis is forwards. Going before that, Kawhi and Siakam the forwards. Before that, Kevin Durant is the forward. Before that, you got Bron again, and then before who was that?
You're just
you got
naming
Draymond
nothing
Green.
but all-stars.
So it's like right. That's what I'm 100%. Saying. Again, even going all the way back, like Jordan with Dennis Rodman and stuff like that.
Pippen and Rodman.
Kind of don't. Right. You kind of don't win without forwards. You need those wings. You need those gritty guys. Like it's cool. Like you can have all like the glitz and the glamour and like there's show guys obviously, but you usually don't win without those other guys that are in the
low key. You got Worthy.
Right.
That's a fair point.
Clyde
right.
Drexler.
I ain't got no arguments.
Always gotta have a forward. Yeah. That's so we're around the same area.
So then, Matt,
the mid positions.
Let's put a gun to your head, Matt. Top 5 players of all time.
Crazy.
Yeah, put a gun to your head. Gilbert Arenas, Raymond Felton.
Jesus.
All right.
Jesus.
I feel like my list is pretty traditional. Like, I feel like.
Nah, you're gonna say something.
Yeah, you know it.
I know you are.
Matt's big bullshit.
He's gonna say some bullshit. He's gonna say some bullshit.
I think mine is pretty traditional. It's MJ, LeBron, Kobe, Kareem, Magic. Like, I just feel like it's a pretty traditional list. Kobe is my favorite player of all time, but I'm just keeping it a stack. MJ and LeBron are just like, they're the two pinnacles. Kobe, I feel like is the best one-on-one player of all time, could smoke everybody on that list. But as far as a basketball standpoint, or an NBA standpoint, 5-on-5, all that.
Like, what are you basing your list off of? Like, is it accolades?
Everything.
Is it individual
Everything.
talent? Is it
everything? So that's why I got like Kareem up there. He was 6-time MVP, 5 rings. Magic 5 rings. I think he had 3.
You don't have to explain Kareem.
Yeah, and Kobe Bryant is the closest thing we've ever seen to Jordan. He was our era's Jordan. I know you can understand that to the fullest. I know where he ranks on your list. So, and then and then LeBron and Jordan are just those two guys that everyone argues about. They have to be in that top 3 discussion on anybody's list, in my opinion. If Jordan and LeBron are not in your top 3, your list is just wrong. Like, it's just wrong. Yeah. And then Magic is just he helped make the game what it was. If Magic and Bird didn't pop out in the 80s, Magic's better than Bird. Bird's in my top 10, but not in my top 5. But if Magic and Bird didn't pop out in the 80s, the league was going bankrupt. They were dealing with drugs and fights all the time. Magic and Bird saved the league for what it was. So I feel like my top 5 is like, you can't really have too many arguments with that. It's a pretty thorough top 5.
V-Man?
So yeah, like you said, there's no debating on who's my number 1.
We all know that.
It's Kobe is by far my number 1. He's the GOAT to me. Brown is actually my number 2.
Yeah.
Brown's my number 2, and Jordan is my number 3. Like you said, I feel like that should be the standard order of top three, or not the standard order, but those are the three.
Yeah.
That those should be your top three. My number 4 is Kareem.
Yep, just like mine.
And 5, you could call it whatever
I know,
you want.
I get it.
But Steph Curry is definitely my 5th. 100%. I feel like he's the best point guard of all time, which means he would have to be
Magic.
ahead of Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is number 6 in my top 10, definitely. But
we
Steph
almost have
Curry
the
is definitely
same
my
list
5th,
here.
my top 5.
I mean, I ain't putting Jordan
My
third.
top 5 list.
I'll say our lists are pretty similar all in all as far as people. I mean, he got...
Because it's like, to me, this was my thought process behind how I ordered my top 3. It's like, Jordan has more accolades than the other 2. Correct? Boom.
Well, yeah.
The problem that I have with Jordan is that he dominated a time period, kind of a ghost of a time period. Because it was like there wasn't really anybody contesting
The
him.
East was tough.
You feel me? Now, why I value Bron more than him is because Bron has played 100% better teams than Jordan has.
100%.
Jordan would have never survived the teams that Bron has played at all. But the thing about Kobe to me is he actually
was in the middle ground.
Kind of right. He was the middle of both. He got the accolades more than Bron, obviously, other than MVP and Finals MVP. But he also has played tougher teams than Jordan. Like, he's had to run through the Spurs.
Yep.
He's had to go through the Celtics.
Yep.
He's had to go through the Suns. And those type of teams. Teams that Bron wasn't able to beat, frankly. Because in 2010, he did lose to the Celtics.
Snapping now.
Actually, in 2009, he lost
And
to
he
the
lost
Magic
to
as
the
well.
Spurs in 2014.
So that's 2 years in a row that Kobe has beaten the team that has taken Bron out. So that was really more my thought process behind and besides the fact that 2008 Kobe was the best basketball player I've ever seen.
There you go.
Yeah.
100%. Like, pound for pound, he was definitely the best basketball player I've ever seen. 2014 Bron was my runner-up, but there was nothing like 2008 Kobe.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to,
Respectfully.
with my list, number 1, I'm putting a tie for Jordan and Jordan and MJ. Almost did it again.
Oh,
Jordan
come
and
on!
Bron.
You're soft!
because
He's
we're-
soft!
You need to make a distinction.
You can't.
So wait, do you have 6 players, or are you just doing
No,
1A,
I have
1B?
5.
Like,
I have
what are you
5.
doing?
Yeah, I have 5.
Okay.
Because for
That's
me,
soft,
it's like as
though.
many arguments.
That's a weak move.
As many arguments as, well, I'm wearing the KD jersey, so.
Would
Yep,
expect it
yeah.
for KD. I would expect
And I
it.
told you guys I'd be the villain.
Nah, the question is who's 1B?
Yeah, who's 1A, who's 1B? Because that's your 1 and 2.
Who's 1B? Yeah, we got him.
One
We
B
got
is
him.
LeBron. But
Ah!
I say it's tied, and the reason why I say it's tied is because as many arguments as you can make for LeBron, there's just so many arguments that you can make for Jordan. And it's just a huge debate in my head to pick one over the other. And right now, I think at the end of the day, we're going to be saying LeBron over Jordan because LeBron most likely has, 3 or 4 more years left at tops, or maybe even minimum. Maybe. I don't know what's going to happen with this guy. We see Tom Brady
He's a
still
fucking
going.
machine.
Yeah.
But
Go.
I say it's
Go.
tied right now because, again, you have an argument here, argument there, argument here. And I think, honestly, when it comes to Kobe, who is my number 3, I just think his career, there was just unfortunate situations, like obviously growing up playing with Shaq and not getting that trade with CP. He won those 2 rings, but then the rest of his career, he didn't have that luxury of having a beautiful ending to his career because of his injuries. I mean, yeah, the 60-point game in the last game.
Getting blackballed from MVP.
Yeah, like getting one MVP.
Bro, we
it's-
haven't even talked about that.
Right.
I'm shocked that
So
wasn't
I
brought
think
up.
like when I think of
But-
Kobe, it's not a fault of his own because honestly, if he didn't grow up with Shaq, he would have had a similar career right now
Grow up
as
is
LeBron.
crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean he got drafted at 17, you know.
Nah, that's a
So I think without Shaq, he has similar trajectories to a lot of NBA talents that we see. Like LeBron had like no team around him for the first several years.
Without anybody
Melo was
good.
by himself in Denver for a while.
He had AI.
D Wade was
Fuck with you.
was alone in the Heat. He made it work though, and obviously Shaq got
Yep.
there and played a big part in that. Even though D Wade absolutely snapped, But it's like Kobe had Shaq,
one of
so
the
it's
best
like
finals performances ever.
he wasn't granted the opportunities that Jordan and LeBron had to really, in my opinion, elevate himself for sure past them. Because as you say, V-Man, and the arguments that you make, I honestly, there's going to be people that are probably even saying why the hell we have Kobe in our top three, because most people
like,
have him
he's
outside
15.
the top
Oh,
five.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
But we're
People have
realists.
him outside the top 10.
Yeah, we're realists. So I think like the arguments
For
that you
sure.
make, yeah, they're very valid arguments. But in my opinion, it's just like he didn't get the same luxuries that LeBron and Jordan got through their career.
But also people...
I feel like Kobe...
You're good.
I feel like Kobe was kind of the problem that the NBA didn't see coming. Like how you said they used the Chris Paul thing as kind of like a cover up as to not give him anything more, add more fuel to the fire. Like that's actually perfectly in line with that. Like he's somebody that they didn't account for.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, when you're
especially not being that good for as
and
long
he wasn't
as
the number one pick.
Especially after Shaq left, they thought that was it.
they low key they were shook when he got voted to the All-Star game in the second season when he was a bench player still. They were like, what the fuck?
Like,
yeah.
After Shaq left, they thought it was over.
They thought he was going to fumble.
And then he wins 2 more, and then all of a sudden Chris Paul's coming in. All right, now we got to stop this.
He's going to be better than Jordan.
And that's exactly what I mean. Like, for example, like, Kobe won his 2 rings with a circus show, in my opinion. I think those guys on that team, besides
Every
Pau
time I look at
Gasol,
that roster,
Showtime
I'm just like,
2.0, baby.
besides Pau Gasol, some of those guys had no business winning a ring in the NBA.
We had Trevor Ariza as a rookie. We had
My boy
Shannon
Sasha
Brown,
Vujacic.
Sasha Vujacic. Lamar
Vujacic.
Odom was good. He won 6th Man of the Year, but
You know how many rings Luke Walton collected?
my son Luke Walton was the bench warmer,
What?
bro. Adam Morrison. Like, bro, it's just...
But, like, because LeBron, like, one of the things that we appreciate Bron for is and I honestly, and we'll have this conversation another day, is, how many times he's been put against the wall because he's had shit around him for a team. He's gotten that opportunity to really be pressure tested, whereas, with Kobe, it wasn't really pressure test. We knew what Kobe was about. It didn't matter who the hell was around him. He was going to fucking find a way to slap any of those guys in shape. So that's what kind of takes away from those 2 rings. But for me, those 2 rings right there, that was him winning by himself. Like how every superstar can say like they carried their team themselves to the promised land. And I think those 2 rings were that. Number 4 is Kareem. I mean, again, nobody can deny Kareem with all of his accolades.
Kareem, I feel like on everyone's list in history, Kareem should be 4.
Yeah. And a lot of people are going to say he's 3. A lot of people are going to say he's 2. The LeBron haters will say he's 2. The realists, the realists will say
he's
3.
The crazies will say he's 1.
And I'm not even going to lie to you. There's some people out there that rank Magic above him. That is incorrect.
For sure.
Yeah, no.
That's 100%
And V-Man,
because I've ran into that.
We have the same list at the end here because number 5 is Steph. And I base this list off of, obviously, their careers, how talented of a player they were, and the mark that they left on basketball. And what kind of prevents me from ultimately giving LeBron the GOAT status is that Steph Curry, you can honestly make the case that this was his generation. He's the one that changed the game. He's the one that inspired the whole basketball game moving forward. So I think Steph has to get those flowers.
Yeah.
I mean,
but LeBron also has turned this game positionless because everyone can now do everything just like LeBron can. But yeah, I 100% understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but also, I mean, LeBron was also the guy that decided to learn how to shoot when he was this freak athlete that not a lot of other people decided to do that.
I mean, not just shooting. I'm saying everyone now.
No, right, but when you think of this era, when you
now.
think of the last 10 years, you're just gonna think of Steph and the 3-ball. You're not gonna really think about LeBron and whatever. You're gonna think about Steph.
People are still gonna think about LeBron, but as far as changing the game,
when it was MJ's time, it was MJ's time, and he ain't let nobody else get the spotlight. When it was Kobe's time, it was Kobe's time. He didn't let no one get the spotlight.
Take the spotlight though?
Huh?
Who was about to take the spotlight from MJ?
Either way, he wasn't gonna let it happen.
Right.
Who?
Honestly, I can make a valid point or a valid argument that if he did not retire, Hakeem would have wailed on him.
It's a valid point. Like I could.
Yeah,
see
but
it.
I also think that the combination of Pippen and Jordan would have
bro.
overwhelmed him, in my opinion.
And I'm gonna keep it a stack.
Especially the second time around when they got Clyde Drexler for no reason.
And Jordan was there. Jordan was there in those playoffs, and he got smoked by the Magic. He was there in the second year. He was gone. He came back. People are like, "Well, he was out of shape. Put up 63 in the Garden. Fuck out of here."
But either way, to my point,
Shaq swept the
either
shit
way,
out
to
of
my
him.
point, like how it was with LeBron is that like, besides Steph, it's the same thing. Like, the East was easy. No other superstar is going to even get to be born because LeBron's absolutely like running rampant on the East. So no other star is really getting the chance. Steph just slipped through the cracks, in my opinion. And then the NBA was like, yeah, this is actually a great thing to advertise.
Steph has one of the most comeback stories of all time because like he was touted to like not be good, just be a shooter, never be a leader, never.
And I get it.
Have any like. I get it too. Like I get why he was scouted that way, but he has the comeback story of like everything, injuries going crazy his third year.
But then,
Yeah, I
my
love
thing
Steph.
about that was my thing about the LeBron and the easy East thing was like, who did Jordan really beat?
Beat the Knicks. Hold on, I'd have to do more research on that.
So another one of those. Another one of those. He gets props for beating the Knicks.
Hold on.
Oh man.
I mean,
Knicks
but
didn't
that's
have
the thing.
anybody
It's like
offensively or defensively.
I just remember every time doing research on MJ, and I'm about to do it again, because I didn't find myself getting into this argument. Because honestly, for me, I'm just at this point now where I'm ready for the next GOAT to be born. If I'm being like honest with you, I'm ready for the next guy.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm honestly tired of the whole Jordan and LeBron. Even though I can sit here and admit that probably at the end of his career I'm going to be one of those guys that says, because the story is going to be written for LeBron to get one more fabulous ring. And if he loses in the finals again, I don't know. But
if he can make it to the finals with this fucking team, man. Shit.
either way, I'm just going to say you have a point.
To
But
the finals with
Series.
even Siri's wiling on me. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take our first break. I can't believe we just did all that for an hour and a half. That was impressive. So we're gonna go to break. When we come back, we're gonna have some fun. So we'll be right back.
I could see him going.
I started the recording. About to give the countdown. All right, 3, 2, 1, and we are back. And what I want to do is I want to start this segment that I'm going to do every week.
Matt, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, Matt was just tweaking just now. But
yeah, Matt was wilding. He was bugging.
Shawn Michaels just enters the podcast. The heartbreak kid, Matt Serrano.
Right.
So I'm gonna give you guys what's called the draft pick fact of the week, and it is never gonna be a good fact. Never gonna be anything that you guys truly need to know.
Okay.
So
Draft
here
pick
we are. We're in
fact of the week.
2007. The Boston Celtics have the 5th pick in the draft, and they picked Jeff Green.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
Yeah, I knew exactly
Now-
where you were going with this.
The same night, they sent him, Wally Serbiak, and Delonte West to the Sonics for Ray Allen and Big Baby Davis. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now let's fast forward to 4 years later. He was traded from the Thunder. He was playing for the Thunder all of a sudden. And he was traded to the Celtics for Kendrick Perkins and Nate Robinson.
Yeah, right back at home.
Then 4 years later,
Okay. In Boston.
4 years later, he was in a trade that was mainly so that Quincy Pondexter could land on the Pelicans.
Remember him, Quincy Pondexter? Holy, my son Quincy on deck.
It doesn't end there because a year later,
Yo, if you
he
don't
was
make the
traded to the
relevant list-
Clippers for Lance Stevenson.
Lance, they come dance, Lance.
He's just traded
And
for
altogether,
nobodies.
he made $80 million altogether, but there was only 1 year that he made more than $10 million, and that's with the Magic. And if you didn't know that he played with the Orlando Magic, neither did I. 'Cause I
did.
don't remember that.
But
Free tax
that's
dollars.
the fifth draft.
And because he didn't.
I'm
do
just
shit.
saying, if he would've
did-
stayed on the
didn't do a
Celtics,
damn
who
thing.
knows?
The only thing I can remember Jeff Green doing, what the fuck did he do? He helped KD in Game 6 against Brooklyn or against the Bucks. That was it. That was the only good.
He was randomly on the Nuggets this year. He was randomly on the Nuggets this year, and we're wondering if we should bet on him to win the game or not. Because the odds are so crazy.
he was a great sidekick last year for KD, or 2 years ago for KD. He was great.
Didn't do shit.
A great sidekick is
Wasn't great enough.
a great sidekick.
Which is why he's the random draft pick of the week. Draft fact of the week.
Yeah, but to say that's crazy. He's the Robin to
Like-
KD's Batman. That's nuts.
Terrible.
That is
They
nuts.
started it together. They started
Nuts.
it together in OKC.
Like, bro, that's not even. He's not even a Robin. Honestly, he's not even an Alfred. I don't even know who you would get. Like, who would you call him?
One of the guys he
Just a-
beats
just
up
a
in
henchman.
Gotham.
Like, he's a random
man.
civilian at that point
We're
that
gonna
happened
see
to
this
give
is
him a
competition,
good tip.
This is a championship-winning jersey. Watch. It's gonna be a championship-winning jersey this year.
Sell that shit.
No,
For what? $5? So
Whatever you can get for. Darko Milicic. No way in hell he went number 3.
son
in that
is an
draft.
apple farmer now or some shit.
Or number 2. What did he go? Number 2?
Two. Yeah, right behind LeBron.
Yeah. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell that guy went number 2 in that
The
draft.
Pistons fumbled the.
Just killed Thomas.
The Pistons fumbled the bag. I mean,
Bro.
they won a chip that year, but imagine you had
An apple farmer?
Bro, he's a farmer now, bro, and he's Aki.
an apple farmer?
Yo, I didn't even hear that. What?
He's an
Darko Milicic is an apple farmer?
It's something like that.
Yo, I'm dead. What?
Yeah, bro.
There's no fucking way. There's no way. Hell no.
How the hell you go from the 3rd pick in the NBA draft to a fucking apple farmer when it's all said
Well,
and done?
yeah.
That's wicked.
That's him
He's
now,
fucking-
guys. He's a farmer.
I'm dead. You go number 2 in one of the most legendary drafts of all time. Right? And you follow that up.
He's got an apple in hands.
You deadass follow that up. You repay the Detroit Pistons, the team that took you number 2 overall, by not even averaging 2 points a game for them in their jersey. He never averaged more than 2 points a game for them. He's never averaged more than 8 points for his career.
And you know what's crazy?
What do they see in him?
You know what's crazy?
Bro, I have no idea.
Who they have at the 3, Tayshaun Prince, during the run.
Yeah.
You could have Tayshaun.
You could have had Melo.
Tayshaun Prince was a good player, 100%. He was a serviceable guy, but Melo.
You could have had Melo or D Wade,
Or
bro.
if you were gonna pick a
Or D Wade.
or if you were gonna pick a big guy, Bosh is still there.
You could have picked Chris Bosh.
Yeah, but I
So
get-
there
I'm
was
just
no
saying, how do
reason-
you look at
I get
how
why
do you
they
look at
didn't-
everyone and just say him?
I get why
That's
they didn't.
it.
I get why they didn't
Like,
pick
what?
D Wade. They had Rip Hamilton, and D Wade low key was touted to be like near a 20 pick, but the Heat took a chance on him.
Man, fuck that. Fuck
So I
that.
get why they didn't pick D Wade, but you still had Melo and Bosh.
Darko
that were-
Milicic should have never even been on the draft
Bro,
board.
100%. He should have. No. Get him out of here. Apple farming ass.
His
Boy.
peak years, he averaged 8.8 and
Imagine
5 rebounds.
peak.
For the Timberwolves in 2012. Or
I'm
2010,
about to say,
sorry.
oh,
Oh, I was gonna say, whoa.
His last year, he played for the Celtics in 2012. He literally played 1 game in 5 minutes and recorded no stats.
And they were just like, yeah, no.
That's your
Like,
that's,
bro, what?
that's your retirement party.
Come on, bro. Come on.
So I'm gonna throw 3 more real irrelevant names at you guys that I randomly just thought about right now. Ready? So the first is Jared Jeffries.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. I always
Big
ended up
relevant.
getting that guy in 2K. Always ended
He
up
was
getting
a
that
good-
guy in
big
He was a
2K.
good ninth man. Solid 10 minutes.
Now, the
later.
guy that I was hoping that V-Man picked that for whatever reason I just didn't remember is Ronnie Turioff.
Oh, shit. I knew it.
I love Ronnie.
What? I almost put him on my list. I swear to God, I
Oh
did.
my
But I was like,
God, bro.
DJ Mabanga is much worse than Ronnie
Kobe
Terry.
loved
bro.
Ronnie. Kobe loved Ronnie.
Like,
Ronnie Turioff was irrelevant for all the right reasons. He just existed, and I'm just thankful for his existence.
Thankful.
And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you
He's
why.
part
Right.
of one of the best Kobe highlights of all time. The through the legs, behind the back, spin move around 3 defenders, goes up
Right.
behind the back to Ronnie Turioff.
right,
And
right to Ronnie
one
Terry.
of the best Kobe highlights of all time. He's part of it.
Yeah.
He's part of it.
Hell yeah. And the other name, and I don't know how I didn't think of him, because I remember I made, in high school, for whatever reason, I was roasting
no.
this guy like no one's business.
Oh, no.
Ben Gordon.
He was a dog at one point,
Yo, I'm
too.
crying.
Yo. He
Yeah,
was
but
a
like-
dog at one point.
He
He was a dog, and then he decided to just rob everyone of some real lucrative ass contracts. You know, at one point,
Yeah.
he was like threatening like top 10 highest paid players of all time.
Yeah. He was bugging the fuck out, bro.
He's literally the guy that asks you to borrow $100, and then you just don't know him
He was
after
a
that.
menace to society.
No, that's a fact.
He was a
Yeah, I'm trying to
menace.
think if there was
Gordon.
anyone else that was mad irrelevant. Who else was mad?
I mean, there's
irrelevant?
mad players that are mad irrelevant, low key.
Andrea Bargnani.
I was
mad
thinking
irrelevant.
about him. I was thinking about it, but he low key, he was cool. Bargnani
He's
was
a
cool.
I
hero.
liked him.
He's
I actually
hero.
liked him though.
Did you hear him?
I liked him though.
Did you hear him? He's a hero.
I don't know about all that.
He's a hero.
A hero where
Oh,
he should have saved himself.
turn on the lights. Turn on the
Look, he's
lights.
not saving. Look, he's not saving you right now.
The Undertaker just pulled up on Thomas. Dum.
Nah, because when I edit the video, I'm gonna put the lights in there, or the gongs. Nah, but I mean, he's a hero in
Just get
Italy. What the fuck?
copyrighted.
He's a hero in Italy.
Don't get Oh, you know who's crazy irrelevant? Nikola Pekovic.
Oh, I like that guy.
I liked him
I
too.
fucked with him.
Him
with
and
him.
Love were a great front court. But
Deadass.
you know why he's irrelevant?
For whatever
Rebounding
reason,
machines.
You know why he's irrelevant?
I refuse to acknowledge his existence. Like, it just feels like he just never
Do
existed.
you know why he's
Pekovic?
irrelevant though? Let me. So, do you know what his career is like after basketball? Because he is now retired. He went back.
Come on, bro. I don't want to fall on the
he-
floor again.
He went back to where a foreign country. Don't remember. I don't want to just assume wherever he's from. But he went back to where he was from.
He's just ready for the floor.
And there, he became very good friends with this guy who has a last name Saric, not like the basketball player, but and apparently that
He's
guy,
another one. No, Dario Saric is
He
another
is.
one. Irrelevant as fuck.
But apparently this guy is a massive drug lord over in the country they're at. And
Oh, yeah.
apparently,
Yeah, I heard of that.
They were just good friends, but the authorities had found Pekovic's vehicle with mad guns and drugs and everything in it. So he is affiliated and now, and he's a godfather to that dude's kids, the drug lord, the kingpin. So he's within
bro.
that family.
I remember
now,
that.
bro. He is a drug lord associate.
I remember that.
My boy gets
crazy.
down.
All I'm saying is when Andrea Bargnani went to the Knicks, I was
Right.
bugging with him in 2K.
Oh
That's all I
yeah,
know.
he had like a ridiculously high 3-point rating. This shit was bonkers.
You better watch out. He had the
Matt,
gun.
as much as we hate to admit
One
it,
of the most underrated
as much
players
as we
of all
hate to
time.
admit it, Ryan Kelly is irrelevant.
Oh no, Ryan
Ryan Kelly was irrelevant, bro. He was irrelevant.
he was the hero we
He was
needed.
irrelevant, bro.
He was the hero we needed
Bro.
but didn't deserve.
Jody
Bargnani
Meeks was
averaged
irrelevant.
20 points a game, bro.
Jody Meeks put up what 50
Man,
that one
fuck
game
that.
or 40?
Fuck that.
Number 20, Jody Meeks.
Bro,
Antoine Jameson.
Bargnani averaged 20 points a game with the Raptors.
Who? Yeah, he was nice with the Raptors.
Man,
Not with the
fuck
Knicks.
that. Fuck that. What did they do? What was the record?
Oh, man, what was that?
Don't avoid the question. Don't avoid the question. What was their record?
Wait,
with
what was the
Bargnani?
question?
Like, what was their record?
Let's find out.
What was that?
And their star point guard was Jose Calderon. So what do you want Bargnani to do?
Nah, Jose Calderon was wildin'.
Hold on. So was Bargnani.
Nah, low key, I lost all faith in Jose Calderon when fucking Mario Chalmers dropped him with that jab step.
Oh,
put him down with that
bro.
jab step, bro.
Wow, Mario Chalmers would have been great on this list.
I almost had him, but then I was like, he got
Norris
rings.
Cole is even better.
Norris Cole, yeah.
Oh, I love that guy. Tony Douglas.
Oh my god. Holy
Chris
fuck.
Paul.
They were 22 and 60.
What the fuck? Kyle Guy.
Kyle got what?
Kyle Guy. He's literally playing right now. He still plays to this day. But Kyle Guy.
Landry Shamet.
Holy fuck. He also still plays shit. Who else do we got?
All right, we're gonna close here with some final thoughts. We're gonna get out. We're gonna get out of here. This was fun.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. This
This was
was
a blast.
definitely fun. So, Matt, what are some of your final thoughts here?
My man Jordan was trash. No.
Damn. But he's your
we
GOAT.
got a lot of
But he's your
crazy
GOAT.
takes today. Yeah, but he's the GOAT. See, that's what. See,
What
also,
shit
yeah,
is
I want
going
to
on
end this
here?
off with clarifying. Yes, I said he's a souped-up, crazy DeMar DeRozan in this era, but I literally still said he's the GOAT. So, all you dick-riding
That's all over the
90s
place.
lovers, calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
You're
It's
giving
okay.
them all the material.
Calm down. He's still the GOAT. Get over it.
You went from DeMar DeRozan to GOAT to
Right.
sucks.
Right. Like,
Nah.
it's either he loves him or he hates
But
him.
no, this. Nah, I hate that
Right.
motherfucker because he was not better than Kobe. Anyway, so. Nah, this was great. I don't really got.
Your mind, man. Serving up the sloppy Joe.
Yo, don't start that here, man. Don't start that here. Don't start that here, man.
Joe.
I'll tell you guys right now. No, I'm kidding.
Holy fuck! You want to tell them what Sloppy Joe is?
So, V-Man, what are your V-Man? What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, fuck what Matt just said. Kobe's the GOAT. Oh yeah, another thing another like aspect on my take on why Kobe is the GOAT. It actually goes back to something that Matt said earlier.
Yeah.
Matt, you consider Jordan a GOAT, right? Or both of you consider Jordan a GOAT, right?
Yeah.
This is why, to me,
Tied.
even if you don't put Kobe as the GOAT, you at least have to put him at number 2. Because, like you said, and I've heard this stated by many other people, and it's honestly common knowledge, Kobe is the closest thing to Jordan that we've ever seen. So if Jordan's the GOAT,
As far as players,
if Jordan's the GOAT and Kobe's the closest thing that we've ever seen to him, then where would everybody else fall in that? Like I said, mixed that thought process mixed in with all of my other.
So when I feel exactly what you're saying, but when I said the closest thing to Jordan we've had in our generation that we've ever seen, I meant as far as player type.
What do you mean?
You can still be a different like Son modeled his game after Jordan and perfected
You also
it.
said Michael Jordan was DeMar DeRozan.
Calm down, but
Right.
it's just you can be
Right.
another player type.
Right. So the DeMar DeRozan
Better.
perfected.
Yeah.
Why is DeMar DeRozan not in the top 10?
DeMar DeRozan. I'm saying he's
Huh,
a souped
Matt?
up DeMar DeRozan in this era. A souped up. You literally said you see what I'm talking about, like when we were on break. Don't play
I'm
with
not
me
gonna
like that.
lie.
You openly admitted to DeMar
not gonna lie.
DeRozan being the third in line after Jordan.
I didn't.
I'm
You're-
looking
what
at
are you
this
talking
Raptors.
about? What are you
I'm
talking
looking at this Raptors 2010 to 2011 team still, and they won like once a week.
Wait, what? What are you? What? You talking about Bargnani?
I'm crying. What?
Yo, go look at that. It's looked like you're.
What the
Dude,
fuck?
he lost for such a long time in a row, so many times.
Yo.
Bro, Bargnani. That's why
Like,
Bargnani
wow.
was putting up 20 points a game. They
Bro,
wasn't
Canada
shit.
had nothing to look forward to.
Also, another
2010
irrelevant
to
player that I
2011.
really
That's
loved
tough.
Hashim
That's
to
tough.
beat. Loved Hasheem Thabit, but he was irrelevant as fuck. He is definitely irrelevant as fuck.
What did
He
you
was
love
just a
about
meme.
him?
You feel me? He's just a. You love all the tall guys in the
I can
league.
He was
appreciate
drafted
Like
high
Taco
as
Fall.
fuck,
Taco
right?
Fall is another irrelevant ass guy that I love, but he's just tall. He's there. You feel me? Like,
Bro, that's a guy that you'll never
Right.
see play a game of
Ever.
consistent minutes ever,
Thomas.
but be one of the more relevant.
Simbalar. Do you remember?
Did he even
He was
play
like
NBA?
7'7", big as hell. He was a
Fat?
Yeah, he was a cheat code in 2K like for like the 1 year he was in it.
They gave him a 99. They still gave him a card like a couple
Word.
years after.
Oh, in this 2K he has a card too. Yeah, I have his card in 2K this year.
No, I did see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
did
no
see
reason he has like a 98 overall card.
Bro, they said his nickname was Sim City.
who? What?
Kinda crazy. Simbalar.
Symbol
Nigga
art.
said Sim City. What? He's just
He
Philly.
played in 3 games.
He played in
All
3
time.
games.
He played in 3 games. He scored 1 bucket, and he played 1 minute.
What was his exact
Each of
height?
those 3
And
games.
What was
that-
his exact height?
In that, they gave him a nickname of a strip club in Philly.
I was gonna go with a video game, but
Or a movie.
there you go.
Anyway, what was
So
his
he
exact
was
height?
7'5". Yo, he's still 20. So let's see where he's playing now. He's a Canadian professional basketball
Nigga, the
player
Lakers
for the-
need you.
The Sinshu Lioneers of the Taiwanese
Nah, he
P
was
League.
slow as fuck. Sinshu.
He played basketball for New Mexico State University and is the first player of Indian descent to play in the NBA. He's the 6th tallest player of all time. I don't know if you can even give him that because like he
3
only
games.
played in 3 minutes all times. He attended Father Henry Carr Catholic Secondary School.
What
How
a
did you not
name
attend the
right
primary
there.
school?
What?
Father Henry Carr Catholic School. Say that 10 times fast.
Let me see something.
No. Dude, I don't even know where to look up his overseas stats, but we're gonna
Simbalar.
find him.
Most irrelevant player of all time.
Oh, he has G League stats.
How many G League games he played?
Oh wow, you see, he averaged like 10 and 9 with 4 blocks a game. Holy shit,
4 blocks is crazy.
that's a big body in the paint. If you got that working, that would have been significant.
Yo, you know who else was dead ass terrible?
Oh god. Yo, we're shitting on
shit.
so many players right now.
Fucking Michael Ruffin. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Michael.
And on that note,
Ruffin.
it was a great podcast, guys.
I don't know if you guys remember that, but Michael Ruffin was dead ass terrible.
Who the fuck was Michael Ruffin?
Bro, you don't remember that play on TNT where Charles Barkley was roasting him?
Oh, I'm gonna have to look this up. Michael Ruffin. Who let a guy named Michael Ruffin play in the NBA?
Bro, the guy that they were about to win the game, their team was about to win the game, and he caught the ball and just threw it up in the air instead of holding the ball and getting fouled, and the other team got it and it made the shot and won. He played
That's
for the Wizards.
why I haven't heard of him, because he probably hadn't played a game after that
Go.
or a season after that.
Go.
Ruffin. But with that, I think Michael Ruffin is a good spot to leave this podcast. This was the first edition of Off the Backboard. It was my pleasure. It was great. I feel like Matt has one more final thought to leave us off with. What is that, Matt?
Because he always has something to say.
Right. Shut your fucking mouth.
Always.
You
He
literally
never
just
stops
told me
talking.
to say something.
That means shut the fuck up, Matt.
Don't do it, Matt.
Stop talking.
This season's gonna be lit. Thank you guys.
That's it?
That's it.
What a disappointment.
You guys pressured the fuck out
What
of
a
me.
disappointment. Matt, the most
All right,
irrelevant
we're-
player of all time.
Yeah, Matt, you're number 1 on my list. But all right, guys, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. We'll catch you on the next episode. This was fun. I think we gelled perfectly, and we look forward to bringing you guys more episodes. We hope you enjoyed and made it this far. You suck if you don't. And one last thought. Ronnie Turioff is the greatest NBA player of all time. Let's get it.